Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So I have another book review for you, and this one is called Everyday Espionage, a collaboration between Andrew and Jihi Bustamente, both a married couple who are ex-CIA operatives. This book was written by Dahlia Mercer, and which these two have also written their own books. This one was sort of a collaboration where they used another writer. And sort of the subtitle of the book is CIA Secrets to Think Sharper, Lead Smarter, and Love Deeper. Okay, so I enjoyed this book. I had a lot of hang-ups with it. I have some problems with it, and I'll sort of go over both of them. But what I will say is at the beginning of the book, I wasn't super thrilled with it. It's a very easy read. It's like actually one of the easiest, like quickly breeze through kind of books I've read in a long time. So if it wasn't for that, I might not have actually stuck with it the whole way through. But I will say into the middle and near the end, it started to hook me. I started to get into it. And there's a plethora of very valuable knowledge within the book. And, it's a very interesting concept. These two are both ex-CIA operatives. And that book's called Everyday Espionage, but they have a YouTube channel as well as a website called The Everyday Spy. And it's basically like these little challenges and little educational videos and whatnot of how to incorporate sort of the psychological things that are taught in the CIA and adapt them into regular everyday life, which is a cool concept. It's interesting. I think if you were to apply any of these tactics, or at least just keep them in your mind, they will benefit you. They will help you. They're tried and true and tested, of course. I mean, it's the CIA. But where I think it differs is with their line of work. It was very calculated. It was almost cold at times. It was in order to complete a mission. And they acknowledge that. They say, this isn't what you do in real life. You don't hold the same mindset as if you're a spy in real life and it's all cold and calculated like that. Like, of course, be a decent human being and take care of others' emotions and all that kind of stuff. But you can just apply these tactics to sort of benefit situations. And I think I get where they're coming from. They sort of were over the top on clarifying that. It's like, maybe some people don't have the wherewithal to sort of differentiate things, but I would rather read a book that was almost like darker kind of tactics and be like, okay, well, yeah, that's kind of a darker, that's a dark tactic, but the intention behind why you're using it, and also just your ability to separate from it and just be a normal human being, but also just kind of have knowledge of these sort of darker tactics in order to influence situations, but still have a moral code attached to it. Like I can do that, maybe a lot of people can't. So every time it was saying something that could borderline be, manipulative or whatever, it like keeps clarifying to you, like, oh, this is not, don't think of it that way, think of it this other way, because in the line of work we were in, it kind of had to be that sort of way, but in the real world it doesn't have to be. So they keep clarifying that over and over again, a little bit too much, in my opinion. And what I will say that was, because whenever I read a book, there's usually one piece of information that just jumps right out at me and hooks my attention and that I learn from heavily. And did you know that the most ancient and most commonly used manipulation tactic, both within a social structure as well as within your internal self, is urgency? Of course there is urgency in real life, and there's timelines and all that kind of stuff that we have to adhere to. But it's very easy to influence a situation with urgency when there is no real urgency actually there, and that influence will actually cause different behaviors in the people around you and will actually cause a situation to be manipulated. And that also goes even on an internal basis. Like if I have other things to do today but I want to film this video, and I douse myself with that sense of urgency, then inevitably what will happen is I will fumble on the video because I'm thinking very urgently. I'm in a state of urgency, so I'm like trying to get the video done, and I got all this other stuff on my mind. And it is a survival mechanism. It's there for a reason, but it's, whether it's the social structure, whether it's the workplace, whether it's within your own internal state, in your personal life, urgency is the most commonly used, most commonly overlooked, and ancient form of manipulation that there is. And that really jumped out at me as just like one of those like change your perspective on everything kind of insights, really. And so I won't go on too much longer, but what I will say is I think it's a little bit distant. Like if you want to read, and these guys really know what they're talking about, and it's based heavily in science and that, but I think it would work in their field very well, and that's why it's used. But if you want to really delve into sort of, you know, books about like social dynamics and how to influence situations and that, actually reading this book really made me want to go back and start reading Robert Greene again, you know, like 48 Laws of Power, The Art of Seduction, all that kind of stuff, because he isn't a CIA person, he isn't a sociologist, a psychologist, any of that kind of stuff, but he was just somebody that was very interested in that sort of stuff. So he just used his own observations about what was going on, but it's doused with a heavy amount of emotion, with feeling. It makes you sort of excited and perplexed at what he's talking about, and just makes you excited to go out and observe what he's talking about in a way. It's very eloquently written. Whereas this is a little bit distant. This is a little bit like, it's all sort of about like, focus on the science, don't worry about any emotions kind of a thing, but yet at the same time clarifying like, oh, this is in order to, you know, love your partner more, or understand your partner more, or understand where other people in society are coming from more, and have more empathy. But yet at the same time it's like all science with then just like these little clarifications saying, oh no, but it's not just because it's all science doesn't mean it's all unemotional. Like this is in order to cultivate empathy. Whereas at the end of the day, I would have preferred it if it was just all science with no clarifications, all dark tactics with no clarifications, and I'm fine. I believe my moral compass is enough to decipher whether something is appropriate to use or not, and also distance from it when you don't need to be using those tactics and just be a normal human being. But maybe not everybody can do that, okay? There's a big world out there. The book's being sold to millions of people. They have to cover the tracks a little bit, I guess, right? But anyway, I won't blabber on too much. So that's my review of Everyday Espionage, a collaboration of Andrew and Jihi Bustamente, ex-CIA operatives, written by Dahlia Mercer. I definitely recommend checking out the book. It is an enjoyable read, and there's a lot of great insights in there. So thank you very much for watching this review. I'll see you next time.